Good evening. This is a hearing of the Underhill Development Review Board for the application before us for Michael Moore at 319 Irish Settlement Road, DRB docket 22-03. This is a two-lot subdivision for the project. This application is subject to review under the 2011 Unified Land Use and Development Regulations as amended through 2020 and 2015 Road Driveway and Trail Ordinance as amended through December 18th, 2018. The proposed subdivision was classified as a minor subdivision during sketch plan review, and we had a preliminary hearing on March 21st, I believe, to review this documentation. Purpose of final subdivision review is to determine project conformance with the municipal plan regulations and other municipal ordinances in effect at the time of the application. Final plat review is intended to ensure compliance with the standards addressing the potential impacts of development on adjoining properties, the neighborhood, the zoning district in which the development is located, and the community at large. Typically, land uses are subject to final plat review because of their scale, intensity, and potential for off-site impacts warrant more careful scrutiny by the Development Review Board. Copies of the rules and procedures that the board follows are available at the front counter and can also be obtained from the planning and zoning administrator. If you haven't seen it yet, the town has a new website, which is slowly being populated with our drawings and procedures. Tonight, the order of speakers will hear and ask questions of the applicant, Michael Moore. Mike, you're by yourself tonight, right?
I am, correct.
And we'll hear and ask questions of the planning and zoning administrator, Nick Atherton. We'll give other people in the room a chance to speak. Under our rules of procedure, each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. However, that time can be extended upon request to the board and majority consent of the board. Then the applicant or his representative will have an opportunity to respond. Final comments will be solicited from all parties. All speakers should address their comments to the board, not to other parties present in the room. Board members may feel free to ask questions of any speaker. I'll note that there are no state or municipal representatives acting in their representative capacity other than our planning and zoning administrator, Nick Atherton. Currently, we have no participants online, although this hearing is being simulcast through the GoToMeeting platform, which was included in the hearing warning. An interested party info sheet is available to all attendees at the front counter from the planning and zoning administrator. Only those interested persons who have participated either orally or through written statements in a DRB proceeding may appeal a decision rendered in that proceeding to the Environmental Division of Superior Court. If you are an applicant, representative of the applicant, or an interested party who wishes to participate in the hearing will have to come to the witness chair, clearly state your name, residential address, and mailing address if it's different. What I'd like to do now is swear in all those present who wish to speak tonight. All individuals who plan to testify must take the following oath by responding "I do" at the end. Do you hereby swear that the evidence you give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
I do.
Okay. Are there any conflicts of interest or have there been any ex parte communication on part of the board members?
No.
At this point, I'm going to enter into the record the information package that was sent by the planning and zoning administrator and was listed on the town website as exhibits A through P. These exhibits are available for review in the hearing package dated May 15th, 2023. And are also available at the planning and zoning office, and we have numerous copies here at the table. So that's the preamble. I think I've covered everything, and Mike will just give us the 50-cent tour. What you want to do? We were here in March, so it shouldn't be that.
No, it's pretty simple. I'm just following what you guys recommended. We're to subdivide this and pushing it back in the very back. It's going to be no driveway up against the road. It's a small area that's going to be disturbed.
Yep.
So, and with that, it's just going to be a shared curb cut. And I think it is designed for a 4-bedroom home. And everything is passed through the state. So, looking for your approval to move forward on this.
Yeah, we were interested in the grading plan, last time you were here. Brian Birch in particular was not here tonight, was asking about it. I noticed you supplied one with the plans, through your consultant. That was the only note that I had relative to our notes. He had pretty much supported the neighbors on both sides, and the guy down the hill he bought off, so.
Yeah, I know, I'm not worried about this. Goats.
Yeah. So I would hear, if you're good, I'd ask you to just kind of summarize your draft decision, if you will.
Sure. Matt, there's a copy of the decision underneath the flat. Would you mind handing me that, please? Thank you. So, as Mike and Charlie have already alluded to, a lot of the stuff under review in the subdivision has already been studied, and that really left a handful of things we'll get into. But basically, the sort of things we've been looking at so far have been grading plans, building envelopes, and driveway entrance, access, and steep slopes as well. And we'll talk a little bit about some of those. But just to bring everyone up to speed, the conditions that were put on the preliminary approval were to grant a waiver for the 12-foot driveway property line setback requirement with a shared driveway design. Ask Mike to submit updated information pertaining to wildlife habitat. That was from the memo and map drawn up by Arrowwood. And let's see, the board also asked for ability to serve letters from the fire department and from the Mount Mansfield Unified Union School District. Both of those are in. And that final building location grading plan should be shown on the drawing set. So all of those conditions have been met. Those letters are in, they're in the exhibits. We'll talk about property boundary monumentation in the survey plat in a minute, I suppose. But the updated wildlife habitat memo has been submitted, and the map along with that has been submitted. Those make the case that the wildlife crossing corridor, that the main impact of further development there would be to the wildlife crossing corridor, and that sharing the curb cut minimizes that impact to the degree that further development can. As for steep slopes and building envelope, it doesn't appear there's been any major changes or any changes at all really to either in the final grading plan, but that final grading plan along with the driveway access, it shows greater detail of those, the steep slopes and the building location, the building envelope, and the access as well. Let's see, finally, and there's been a access permit application submitted as well. So that is in the exhibits. Other than that, everything else that we need for a final hearing has been submitted. We have warranty deeds for both parcels. And that's really all that I can think of to mention as far as staff notes. So all the conditions have been met, and all the information requested has been provided.
Any other question for you on your draft decision?
Yeah.
Under renewal, it says that we're gonna delegate authority to the zoning administrator to review this approval should the project not begin substantial construction within the permit year.
Oh.
This is good forever.
Yeah, that was
That's just a leftover?
That's a leftover,
Okay.
yeah. Like, I was saying that I brought in a lot of these conditions from
Well, I had
prior
a
decision.
question about the road cut. Is the road cut, like the road access permit, that's good forever too, right?
So access permits are good for 3 years, actually.
All right.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so our approval of subdivision is good, but if you don't get a revised curb cut in 3 years, I know you're gonna sell it, so. It's a moot issue, but should you happen to hold on to it for more than 3 years, you just have to renew your.
Renew the curb cut. Just the curb cut, right?
Yeah, once our approval's done, after 30 days and nobody appeals it, it's in stone and you
Okay.
gotta do something else to get it undone. So, but that was my only question for you, Nick.
okay.
Anybody have questions for Nick or Mike?
I don't have a question, but I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, because it might be the same issue.
But the one condition we talked about last time was something in the decision, a condition for no further subdevelopment, or subdivision rather, on the lot, which was supposed to be a condition on this original entire lot, and then it got improperly worded as a finding instead of a condition, so we said, a number of us, I think, said we wanted it on this. That was the only comment I had. That's just a condition that you said under the sections of the draft decision that we should probably add in.
Yeah, if that's what the board intends, then we should put that in
Just so
explicitly
that-
there.
It can't, actually, I mean, excuse me, I'm jumping, but the other side, the northern side is undividable.
Well, I understand that, but we had discussed this last time. We said, well, especially the way the state is legislating now, there's a possibility in the future that the zoning, the zoning density could change.
Oh, it's a done deal. I mean, it's not done yet, but he's gonna sign it, right? So this is the S100 bill you're talking about?
No, well, I'm just saying that's the direction. S100 doesn't particularly address this density issue. I noticed that we can get into that discussion, but it addresses other things. But I'm just concerned that the town or the state could in the future say, well, we're gonna, reduce the zoning. We decided that this was the limit we felt was appropriate for that area.
For the density of the acreage minimum, or, something like that, yeah.
Well, in other words, no further subdivision on these two lots.
It seems that there's a little bit of a draft, condition 5 that we could tweak and address that. Yeah, it just says no further subdivision until final approval, so.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought that in discussion, we were wanting it to go further and not just that it's not subdividable, but even now in its current, not putting an accessory unit across.
Across the way.
Yeah, any kind of development at all. So I was under the impression that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
No, does that sound?
When you say across,
On this, under here and.
west. Certainly, no further development back there.
Yeah, it can't, like Michael said, it can't be subdivided now with our
But
zoning
it could in the
regs.
future. if it-
No, you already denied me to go back.
Right, but,
No, not really, but-
I mean, if we're access from here.
Yeah, because we're trying to prevent fragmentation, habitat fragmentation, so yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Who's doing the?
You weren't here, so
Got
we
it.
signed you.
Yeah, no, it sounds
See
good.
what happens when you,
I tried to get it away from it, but they said, no,
Well, I've been trying to get on one, but I keep getting off.
this would be good, because it's,
And you got the draft decision already.
you
Yeah,
can tweak
Got
it.
lucky. Yeah,
is it in Google?
it can be.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
we can start doing that
Let's
for
try
sure.
that.
so I
Yeah.
don't know if we can zero in on, or if we need to zero in on that part.
Yeah, we can always discuss the stuff in deliberation.
Okay.
But, this is more the information gathering phase as opposed to the conditions phase. But if you don't have any more questions, then we can start working out conditions. It's always best to do it in an open session and fine tune it and deliberate, but that's where our head's at, the board's head's at is we don't want the guy who sells us to come back in front of us with the same driveway design that you gave us to the lot in the back, so we're kind of probably restricted.
Okay, so yeah, just wording and they're saying there's no future development
Yeah.
in the back,
Yeah,
other than like a shed. I thought that's what we talked about. Wasn't it like we could put a shed or something?
Yeah, we did talk about that. I think the question was whether or not the board considered something like an accessory dwelling, or sorry, accessory structure, something that would be allowable outside of the prescribed building envelope. which you can see on the drawing sets on the site plan.
So we'll deliberate on that.
Yeah, and I'll point out that the building envelope on this is a pretty unusually tight and specific one as well. It seems like it's drawn to avoid the steepest slopes. But yeah, so I guess that would be probably a better thing for the deliberative session.
Just looking around the table for more questions of the applicant.
I don't have any questions.
I don't either.
No one's still online, so we're good there. Is the board feeling, if nobody's got any more questions for Mike, does the board feel they have enough information at this time to make a decision on the application?
I do.
Yes.
If by consensus, if enough information has been presented to make a decision, I'd entertain a motion to close the evidentiary portion of the hearing.
I make a motion to close the evidentiary portion of the hearing.
Sounds good. Is there a second?
I'll second
All
that.
right. Is there any discussion on the motion to close the evidentiary portion of the hearing? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So now we close the evidentiary portion of the hearing. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the application. Typically what we've done in the past is we entertain a motion to approve the application in open session, and then we deliberate on the application. In closed session, we do it over email. It just keeps the email from being discoverable. So if anyone would like to make that motion.
I'll make a motion to, that we approve the 2-lot subdivision for Michael Moore on our settlement, and that we request in that we do the deliberation in close.
Sounds good. Is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
So motion by Matt, seconded by Karen. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Would now be a time to talk about conditions, or?
We could talk now, in open session. We can also talk about it over email, but why don't we do it now since we got time?
I remember at the preliminary, we were kind of talking about how there are steep slopes within the building envelope and trying to keep the house site where it's shown. As opposed to typically you could build anywhere in the building envelope. Move the house anywhere in the building envelope.
Yeah, good point. So we would kind of flip to a site plan approval process.
Yeah.
Meaning you have to build the drawing per KSA drawings, or what is it?
Yeah, there's really no room to even put that, move it in there, is there?
Yeah, but it's,
I mean, I guess maybe forward.
well, to Dan's point is, like, we asked for a grading plan, you gave us that, right? So that kind of ties you into building the house. And that's
According to
the
that,
plan.
right, good point, very good point.
And so we would kind of tie the building permit to that particular grading plan and limits of disturbance on the drawings,
Gotcha.
you know? So that would be kind of like a condition of approval. That would, I think, meet your objective and.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of already,
Well, I thought,
Locked in.
you know, I
in a
said,
way.
oh, we'll just tie them to the,
Grading.
to the grading plan, but I didn't say it to anybody.
Yeah.
So, because in my head, when I was reviewing the drawings on Friday, I was like, oh yeah, here's your grading plan,
Which means your house is gonna go right
right here,
there.
and your driveway's going right here, so whoever you sell it to can't come in and say, I want to move the house,
Uh-huh.
you know, that's all.
This is the approval.
This is approval.
I actually don't want him to move it, that's like,
Yeah.
I can't see him.
Yeah.
Right there, man.
Well, you're kind of tied anyway,
Don't move further.
because the septic has to go where the septic leach field
Exactly.
is, right?
Yeah. You go any further forward, you're gonna be lower, and then you're gonna be pumping it.
Yes.
I don't see it happening.
And you got a pre-treatment system anyway, so.
In the driveway,
Yeah.
right,
Right, so, you know, you're kind of boxed in anyway, but we'll just kind of formalize it.
okay.
Great, yeah, that's all I wanted to mention.
So it would read something along the lines of, any modifications to the building plan shall be submitted to the board via site plan review?
No.
Or-
No.
No, the board requires that the house and driveway and septic field be constructed
Okay.
per the drawings presented by, is it KAS?
Okay.
Per plan.
KAS,
Mhm.
you can cite the name, dated.
I have done that. I guess what I'm saying is that it seems like we may have a few conditions here that might kind of work against each other then. So we do, so in condition, let's see, number 6, the subdivision drawings, applicant shall submit, et cetera, and I did list in 6B, the final design plan, which is everything in here.
Yeah.
Everything we've just been referring to. So, and then number 8, following that, reads that the project shall be constructed in accordance with the drawing set as part of the review process, revised in conformance with this decision. Any deviations prior to or during construction shall immediately be brought to the attention of the zoning administrator. That to me is a little bit it's confusing then that there's number 13, which is future modification of building envelopes. I guess my question is if the board feels that they want the approved plans to be the plans and for that to be a rigid decision, should we consider eliminating number 13 there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Wait, I would say consider eliminating the last sentence in 8.
Okay, yeah,
And have.
that's
13.
probably a good idea as well, and not 13.
And then why do you want revised dates on the DT1 and DT2?
I held on to that in case there was going to be any revisions requested at this hearing.
So we're not gonna require revised dates because we've closed the evidentiary portion.
Mhm.
And then-
So I will remove that clause.
So we have a motion and a second for approval. We've had some discussion about what to incorporate into our conditions of approval, which we can continue in deliberative session. Is there any other discussion on the motion and second? So
Oh, I had a question. How about that?
now's a good time.
Does the shared driveway require anything, like an agreement or anything, or is that none of our business?
It's got it.
It's in the deed.
That's in the deed.
It's in the deed? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't read the deed.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the deed. I said, there's the deed.
Yeah, no, it's lawyers.
Okay, that was my question.
So it's sort of our business, Karen, because we don't want to create problems down the
Yeah.
road. So,
I was being nice.
so a motion and a second, any other discussion? You guys good? So all those in favor of granting approval for 2-lot subdivision, Michael Moore on Irish Settlement Road, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
So, draft decision is in hand. Right?
Yeah, man,
We're
it's
gonna-
been a long run, so I just enjoy this moment. Thank you.
You want us to
Yeah, I'm gonna do a table dance all fast.
Nick's going on vacation, so that's one of the reasons why I pushed him to put a draft decision together.
Thank you.
So we're hoping to get this out sooner rather than
I
later.
really appreciate that.
And yeah, so we're gonna tweak this over email. Hopefully we'll get it signed. We don't need to be in session to sign it, so I'll get it signed. And when are you going? Like Monday,
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday this week.
Thursday this week. Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna bring my laptop with me.
All
I'll
right.
still be in the country for a few days.
So, where I'm getting at is we'll probably email you the decision. You got a 30-day appeal period before you can pull a building permit.
All
right. We don't have to notify butters, do
We send out copies of the
do,
decision.
but-
Yeah, I'll arrange for
we? Okay.
that to happen. I can get envelopes made up and then have Amanda send them. Yep. And then we've got to record a plat after they
So
appeal period
Mylars,
is done. What's that?
You mean the Mylars?
Yep, the Mylars. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's just the meets and bounds one.
Yeah.
And
So
whenever you drop that off, sometimes like if it gets hung up for closing, right, you need to record it if you're gonna transfer the land. Whoever, just drop it off here and I'll come down and sign it.
You mean the Mylars?
Yeah,
Okay.
it has to be signed by DRB. Usually it's me, but if I'm not around, the vice chairman does it
Okay.
before it can get recorded and be valid, so.
I'll be back in town before we get to that point. Yeah. Not going on vacation for a month, unfortunately. Yeah.
Good for you.
So.
So we appreciate the amount of work you gave us. Appreciate the plan, the updates, addressing all our concerns. Seems like we didn't really spend a lot of time looking at it, but trust me, we did.
I know you did.
We sort of know this by heart.
Yeah, I really appreciate the effort you guys put into it too. Thanks.
And with that being said, our next item is minutes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we will,
Thank you guys. Look forward.
So what is
Thanks, Mike.
this say
Take
there?
See you
Twin
Talk to you soon.
phones, black and red.
What's that?
You have the same phone that Matt has. Is this like the new in color, black and red?
Oh, that's a sticker.
No, but the same phone.
Oh, the case.
Case, yeah.
It's cracked. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful evening.
Alright,
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Have a good night.
Myself a copy of those minutes.
So, did we strike 13 in the end?
No, we're putting it in. I thought we were putting it in
Future modifications.
because we struck that last sentence in 8.
8, okay.
Isn't that what it was?
Yeah.
well, we can talk about it now. I mean, we're not interested in entertaining any changes to the plan.
Right, so.
Right.
So we should maybe just say, no changes no future modifications of building envelope, not allowed.
Okay.
Right? I mean, that can be any more direct.
I will, I think, I guess 13 is kind of just a wordy way of saying what you just said, Charlie. We could either leave it or we could shorten it.
Well, you essentially, you don't want anything west of the power line easement at all,
Mm-hmm.
right? East of the power line easement, it's kind of irregular shape. So somebody could put a shed somewhere in there,
Mm-hmm.
but, we should restrict the building envelope to the east side of the power line easement. No development to the west side of the power line easement,
Mm-hmm.
and modifications to the building envelope are not allowed.
Okay.
Okay.
In case someone asks, because they may.
Yeah.
Does the board, maybe this is a bigger question than just this, but I'll repeat my question about accessory structures and the building envelope. You mentioned a shed as an example. So when I'm going to be, just so I'm clear about this, when I'm going to be, taking this, whatever zoning permit comes of, the application comes of this and looking at this, someone wants to put a sauna or something like that inside the building envelope, that's cool, obviously. What if they want to put that sauna outside the building envelope? Something that would have to be permitted as a accessory structure. Let's say it's a shed instead, just to use your example, Charlie.
As long as it's east of the
power
line.
East of the power lines, okay.
I think that's what we were saying, like nothing was to happen.
Nick, are you talking about this decision specifically or just in general?
Kind of both. I mean, I think right now I'm talking about this decision, but this is something that I think is going to come up more and more frequently as these subdivisions get a little bit more tailored and more common, and people are trying to do more things like accessory dwelling units and whatnot.
So my understanding historically is that development's not permitted outside the building envelope, and that includes any permanent structure.
Okay.
So the Exhibit L has a pretty good definition of the building envelope, right? And, Exhibit L is the grading plan. And it's got the heavy dark line around it. One more page. It's not that one, it's the next. See that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at it, it shows the building envelope kind of irregular shaped and tweaks around. And, you know, the front of the project, front of the house has the stairs in it that encroach a little bit on the building envelope. But if we allow the house and stairwell as designed per Exhibit L, I think we grant them the approval to encroach on the building envelope to the extent that we need to.
Sustainable repair.
Yeah.
That is a regular.
Okay. Others? Okay.
A treehouse sauna? Could do
That'd be
that.
really interesting.
A
Oh,
treehouse shed.
you are speaking into existence something.
I know that on some subdivisions, or at least I think this is the case, that we've done primary residence building envelope or something along those
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah, then when you like that one Bates subdivision, that's where that came in, right? You allowed them
Yes.
to do the primary living structure. Wasn't it?
We're limited the primary, the primary, principal structure.
Principal
within the
structure.
building envelope.
And then ancillary structures were allowed anywhere in the
Mhm.
building envelope.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that lot would have had significant areas that would have been ineligible for any kind of building due to steep slopes anyway, so.
Yeah.
I did look up building envelopes under the subdivision standards and the regulations, and they really make no mention of, difference between primary or principal and accessory structures, and they do also, it reads, the designation of building envelopes to limit the location of structures, parking areas, and associated site improvements to one or more portions of a lot shall be required for all subdivided lots. So I would look at that as to say that that means any kind of development. So when we're talking about the envelope here, we're talking about any kind of.
Well, if you look at the envelope and then you look at like what they've proposed, they've got a culvert outside the building envelope, right?
That's true.
They've got a retaining wall
Yeah.
outside the building envelope, and they've got a stairwell outside the building, or approaching the building envelope.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So I think we should allow all of that, and they've got a drilled well outside the building envelope. So I think we have to allow
Yeah.
this stuff to happen. And, specifically condition this development to this drawing.
Okay. So further development within the shown building envelope.
Yeah, I mean, if you reference it, that includes, this water supply, wastewater disposal system, although that's all entirely inside the building envelope.
Mm-hmm.
Drainage improvements, retaining walls, and stairwells.
I guess historically, it's, our concern has been that we just, we're seeing all this stuff so we know it's there and we're okay with it. We just want to make sure in other situations, somebody doesn't, somebody has to come back before us if they want to, clear out an acre in the back and stick a big, garage or shed. So
Mhm.
that's why we sort of say any development outside. In this case, we're seeing it all.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Okay, so do you think that the conditions as they were written need to be rewritten to reflect that?
They should get tweaked just a little bit. I mean, we've already modified 6B,
Mm-hmm.
right? They don't need any revisions for
And
6B, 8, and 13.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to read it through again.
Sure.
Just, I haven't really read them.
Okay, sure. Sure.
But, that's the whole thing. You can remove the draft language, send it over to Dan, we can kind of review it. And then you can circulate it to most of us. And, sound like a play?
Sounds like a play.
And then, we'll give it to Michael when he come back.
Yeah,
that's right. I mean, I'm not feeling obligated to get him a decision Thursday. Are you guys?
I know he's got a guy who does want to buy, but this is a lot faster than it has been in the past, so.
Yeah, his actual realtor called me about this lot. And he said, Michael said that Vermont Electric Co-op is gonna bury the power line in the back there. I was like, no. It's a huge waste of money.
Not next year, anyway.
Bury the power line?
Yeah,
Would that disturb, isn't that why we didn't want anything?
Yeah.
We didn't want that disturbed.
yeah. But if the line goes down, the truck's gotta get back there however they can. And if they can't get in directly from the road, they've gotta travel down the right of way and then reset the poles and stuff like that.
They should have thought of that before they put it there.
Back in the
like
thirties
that.
when they
Yeah.
were building.
Why
it,
didn't they
yeah.
think about
I
that,
don't
you
know.
know?
That's the problem.
So we have minutes from the 20th of March. That was happened to be,
Organizational meeting.
oh yeah, organization meeting. Who's chairman?
I think you are.
Yeah,
Didn't we change you?
but you weren't here, so we voted you as
No, I
chairman.
think we did this one in February. Yeah, you said it was coming up and we sort of
No, we
ducked our head under the table.
introduced Meg Armstrong in February. I'm sorry,
In May. Yeah.
in March. March 20th.
Oh, yes, that's right, yes, yeah.
And then in May, so you guys want to take a minute to read the minutes or?
I didn't know I nominated everybody. Guess I wanted to move through that, but I'm not get nominated.
I tell you, this woman who does the minutes is awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I wish Donna had the bandwidth for me to send her the planning commission meeting minutes, but with every other board and commission submitting to her, it's,
She's gonna say-
Wait a minute, we don't send ours in to her. We do it ourselves, the Conservation Commission.
Oh, really? Okay, good for
Yeah,
you.
and Natural Resources does it themselves,
Good for
climate
you.
change, so,
Good for you, yeah.
yeah, don't I wish?
So this solidifies the fact that we've adopted our rules of procedure. So as of March 20th, they're approved and adopted. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes of March 20th?
Sure. Looks good to me.
Okay. There's a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
I have discussion, and I think it was this meeting, there was some discussion about, we didn't have to approve our minutes. It was on the tape, I read it, I listened to it, but I wanted to say that the practice of the town of Underhill is that we approve minutes. And it's a good idea that we've approved them because often there are typos or we've said something we didn't mean to say. So I don't know, but it doesn't seem to be in here, but I did hear it on the one meeting that I wasn't at, which was this one. I was here for 50 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah. I think
So,
that may have been me pointing out that that's not statutorily a requirement, but I agree. I think it's a good practice, definitely.
yeah.
You got a clean copy of these? I'll sign them. Or you just want me to just? sign it?
I do have a clean copy for the 20th, but not for the May one.
Okay. So all those in favor of approving the March 20th minutes? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? No? Okay.
Nick, didn't you just say you had a?
Oh,
he's
sorry,
got-
I mean, I can make a clean copy, yeah. I
Oh,
will,
because he's signing a draft.
Oh, okay.
What do you want me to do?
We'll make it look good. Get you,
Any changes on the May 1 minutes? 1 minute to go through these?
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, there is something in our regs that says you can't make a non-conforming lot more non-conforming.
There is.
It's a, yeah. I just was reading that and going, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. So when the lot was created, this is that lease area?
The what area?
The lease area,
Oh, that island?
that island.
Yeah.
Had a town road that went in front of it, and it had frontage on the stream. And at the time, we had allowed frontage on the stream and frontage on the town road.
The town road that is no longer?
No longer, yeah.
So it was non-conforming.
It wasn't non-conforming.
It was
We took the-
conforming.
It was conforming, we took the
Road out
road away.
and made it non-conforming. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better. It's a better non-conforming now than it was.
That was the conclusion. I
A
think.
better. Okay.
Yeah, adding acreage and front,
I see.
and road frontage is,
Okay.
at the very least, making it slightly more conforming by the logic of what
Okay.
constitutes a conforming
Okay.
parcel, yeah.
I never was good at Monopoly.
These are the official.
Thanks.
So that's March 20.
I don't have a clean copy because I only have the PDF copy.
Oh, all right.
You can watch me do some Microsoft Word, or you can sign that one up and I can do the Microsoft Word behind the scenes, and on the signature page will say draft. Everything's pretty clean.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You guys, motion to approve May 1 minutes? Any corrections?
Helen's not there.
All right.
Let's see, less non-conforming. Brian, last name unknown, is that Brian Birch at 703? Commented that the request seems clear.
Yeah, he was the only Brian that was there.
So we add his name.
Yeah, let's shade that.
Cool. So you gotta wait till Mark comes back before we can approve it.
Yeah.
Actually, there are 4 without him.
But Dan wasn't there that night, so I just wanted to.
I know that.
So Dan, you're no hearing scheduled for June. So nobody's on the docket for the first hearing, first Monday. Second Monday is Juneteenth. We can't do July 3rd hearing because it's July 3rd.
Yeah.
So we would have no hearings until the second one in July, except the regularly scheduled one in July. So what we said to Nick is, seems like a long time to go without a hearing. So we tentatively penciled in June 23rd as a potential date should he get an applicant.
Okay.
And so it'll be like the 4th Monday in June.
Yeah.
And we're not advertising it, but in case he gets, somebody wants to build something or do something.
Yeah,
It's an option.
appeal a zoning permit, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would just pencil in on the calendar.
Yeah.
June 3rd, or June 23rd.
June 23rd.
Sounds good.
So Mark, we made one correction on the minutes, and that was on page 2, where it said about 7:03 PM, Brian, last name unknown, to get the request seems clear. That's Brian Birch. He was the only.
Okay.
So I need a motion to approve the minutes of May 1st.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 1st with change.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
aye. Okay, motion carries.
Charlie, you said our possible meeting was June 23rd, it's June 26th. A
Okay,
Monday,
June
right?
26th, yeah, it's
Is
the
it?
Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
Sort of a question if we're wrapped up with everything else.
I think we're wrapped up with everything else, the only
Yeah.
thing is new business.
Was it 79 Pleasant Valley Road?
Yeah.
Food truck?
Yeah.
Don't quite understand how that could not possibly be a conditional use.
So the conditional use for a home, so in a home home occupation the water conservation zoning district can either be, well, any home occupation can either be the home business can either be a home occupation or home industry, depending on the intensity of the use. Home occupation, less intense, and allowed by permit in the water conservation zoning district, which is 79 Pleasant Valley, and home industry allowed by conditional use.
So my contention is it's neither. It's a restaurant or a snack bar.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just semantics.
Mhm.
And historically, those have come in before us.
Yeah, I guess the way I was going with it is that reading off of the logic that we're only allowed to permit one principal use per lot, this would have to be counted as a home industry or like a home business, which would allow the lot to remain, primarily used as a residence, with this being a secondary, sort of accessory use. Basically.
Yeah, but I think my understanding of the home business, home industry is, like you were sort of inferring, is that or implying is that it's about the intensity.
Mhm.
A home business is somebody, for example, sitting at home knitting sweaters. There's not traffic coming out. There's not customers. Going in. There's a need for more parking. There's a need for lighting. There's
Right.
more structures.
It's not a sign on the tree in along Pleasant Valley Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is clearly a
Okay.
restaurant,
Yeah.
cafe, and those are separate, it's not, otherwise, I mean, with the logic that, that you're talking about there, you could really do anything as a home industry.
Yeah. It's fairly flexible. I mean, it does allow for employees to work on site. It does, like even a home occupation does allow for employees and for visitors,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
very low traffic.
Yeah, it does limit traffic. It does limit number of employees. It also makes it so you can't post specified open hours. Now, the applicant told me that he was that he was fine not posting hours, and that it did seem like the application ahead of me fell somewhat narrowly under the standard for home industry. So I was willing to permit as a home occupation. I did tell him that he should probably come in for, based on what he was telling me he'd like to do, he should probably come in for a conditional use review for a home industry permit anyway, because he was talking about how he wanted to run the business, which I agree with, sounded like kind of like a snack bar with open hours. And so he originally was warned for him to have a hearing tonight to talk about that, and then he decided to withdraw that, saying, actually, I'm not going to post open hours. I'm just going to have it by appointment only. But it sounds to me like that's
Kind of
not
bad, he's got a little sign that says open.
okay.
And
Yeah.
then he's got a sign that says shut.
Well,
Okay.
he's also posted the hours on
Front Porch Forum.
Front Porch Forum and I think it's Instagram as well.
Yeah,
So he's posting the hours.
So
Okay.
what we should do is either, A, I want to support the business, but B, we have an obligation to uphold our zoning regs, right? And the way Nick consulted with me before issuing a permit, I said, home occupation, no posted hours, by appointment only. And we'll see if he survives the month of May. And get him in here for home industry, right? No, home.
The home industry,
Home industry.
which is a conditional
Yeah,
use.
so he was supposed to be
Yes.
here tonight for the home industry, and then he bailed. So we gotta say, no, you don't get to bail.
Yeah.
You gotta come before us.
Yeah.
We're gonna violate you. We'll see you on June 26th.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's news to me that he's putting up posted hours and on whether it's on the web or on the actual sign. If it was as simple as he was going to just leave the place kind of open for someone to drop by and ask, "Are you open?" and then have that be the case, which is kind of what we talked about. Then that maybe I'd be more willing to defend that. But I think that if the hours are going up online and there's closed versus open signs and whatnot, that definitely pushes it into home industry and thus conditional use review. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Charlie, but in general, though, I just feel like,
He's pulled a
Well,
fast
like,
one, right?
yeah, I mean, we're playing games with the regs by trying to, I mean, it's a restaurant snack bar.
Mhm.
People have opened a food truck for the Durbos when they came for a full conditional use review. And
Yeah.
we looked at parking and traffic and lighting and the whole bit and how it affects the neighborhood. I don't think we want to set a precedent where somebody can just say, well, I'm not gonna post the hours and I'm gonna open a bowling alley, or a movie theater.
Yeah,
I think we want them to come in and we'll see whether it's appropriate and they're doing the right thing.
Mhm.
It's my opinion, anyway.
No, I think we should direct Nick to violate him.
Yeah.
And require his presence before us on the 26th of June.
Would it be okay in the interest of just being friendly that I send him a letter of warning, letting him know that he might be in violation and that the best way to avoid that would be to schedule himself for a conditional use?
Well, he has to close the business until he gets approval. I mean, he doesn't have a permit for this approved use. Whether we violate him or not, I mean, he can't run a business before it's been approved, right?
Well, technically, he's got a home occupation permit from the town. right?
So he thinks that.
So he thinks that's his approval.
Yeah.
And he's behaving as a home industry, which pulls him into our review, right?
Yeah.
So,
The only way I could see that work is if someone is making sandwiches and food in their home to be picked up wholesale or something, or to give a call and say.
Or sold elsewhere.
Yeah,
Like,
not to serve it there.
Like staging for a catering
And
company.
it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
in my opinion, not
So-
an occupation.
so my neighbor
It's a snack
who
bar.
was Well, I just went to this food truck. I walked down, I saw it was open. I placed my order. I went to Jared Hill. I went to the post office and I picked up my sandwich on the way back. I was like, was it good? She goes, yeah, it was great. Was it cheap? No, it wasn't cheap.
So the breakfast sandwiches that they were advertising sounded really good.
Yeah, so he looks like a duck,
Yeah.
walks like a duck.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a duck.
Really good.
And so you can be friendly,
Mhm.
but if he doesn't show up on the 26th, we're going to violate his ass.
Mhm.
$50 a day fine until he does something about it.
All right.
But you should read Durbros, because even with that was a food truck, and they
Yeah.
were traveling all around. It was just like 2 days or 3 days they were gonna be at their
Okay.
Yeah.
home.
I mean,
and
he's
they
got
had
a sign up
parking
that
and
he didn't, I'm sure you didn't issue a permit for the sign, did he?
I did issue a permit for this sign,
did?
but
Okay.
it did say that it wasn't supposed to, post open hours and whatnot.
Well, it's
so.
got open and shut, so
Okay.
he's playing a little game with
Yeah,
you.
yeah. All right. Okay. So we're doing some semantics, but
Yeah.
all right. Well, that can be addressed for sure. 26 is the open spot, so that's what I'll direct him to send an application for conditional use review.
Yeah. I mean, he was technically supposed to be here tonight,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and we were supposed to go up there and look at it.
Yep.
And then he pulled the application
Yes.
last week, and then all of a sudden I see Facebook posts and
Yes.
Instagram and everything like he's open for business. And,
Yeah.
So,
I can almost see if he wants to be doing what he's doing, I guess, and have a food truck and move around, be at the town pond one day, or be at Moore Park today, be wherever.
Yeah.
That would satisfy someone, food truck. But I think,
so if you want to keep
I
it
don't think we have
friendly,
anything that's specific about food trucks, but
it's a moving snack.
yeah.
But if it's a food truck and it's just sitting there, that's not a food truck. I mean, Kate's food truck is not really a truck.
I guess that's true.
They're
Yeah, I'd like
calling
to see
it
that
one,
move.
but so it's getting that whole.
it's like those
Industry
Mississippi
is
riverboat
getting-
things, that they don't
Oh.
move, they
No.
just fill the
It's
the
still
pond with
offshore.
water and it floats, and it's a gambling
Casino.
Same deal, right? It's a food truck, but it doesn't move very far.
Okay, sounds good. So sorry, you're saying be friendly, which I
Well,
and,
it's turned out to be a lot different than what we thought it was going to be. So we should
I
get
agree.
here.
Yep.
Yep. And his actions are contrary to what we thought he was going to do.
Mhm.
And so the board feels we have jurisdiction. We'd like to assert our jurisdiction, and we'd like him to be prepared for an application on the 26th of June.
Well, I've got most of his materials already, so it should be fairly easy to put together. There aren't many abutters. So yeah, that can be done.
I find it hard for him to really kind of make it past, 4th of July.
Why?
I don't see a lot of, I don't see enough business there, but what do I know?
Sunday morning muffins with some,
Pretty good.
eggs. I haven't had one because I
They just
didn't know.
opened Sunday.
Yeah, they opened on Sunday, but it sounds like it would be a really good deal. Remember they had something like that at Moore Park for a while? The folks that sell wood, the woodshed, the woman would come up with make fried egg sandwiches with bacon in
I
it.
didn't know.
And it was once a month. And John and Barbie,
Choir.
would come and they'd sell their vegetables. It was right at Moore Park.
Well,
About, I want to say now 8 years ago, but I remember the sandwiches, breakfast sandwich.
I missed that. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah, it was really
so that's
good.
kind of the food truck idea.
Yeah.
Going on the trail or something.
I think the road bike crew is probably going to be pretty into it. And if my dad still lived in Vermont, he'd be definitely coming up from Middlebury.
For
Bike.
a Westphalia.
Yeah.
Or a food truck.
Yeah, that's always the destination. Yeah.
Yeah.
New coffee shop opened. Yeah. Let's go check it out. So, okay, sounds good. Sounds pretty clear.
Park would be, seems like it'd be more appropriate. I was
More park.
have to say, a little concerned about traffic pulling in and out, on that road there.
In Tomaso.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously that should be a
That's
tricky situation.
Yeah, I don't know if I see it as a occupation, home occupation or home business.
Mm-hmm.
If
I
it's,
don't think it fits out of those categories, but I think it's clearly snack bar.
Just think of all the hikers that'll stop either on the way up or on the way down, as long as they get down before 2 o'clock or whatever. they
Well,
close.
it's interesting you say that because, you would have thought that that could have generated enough business at the country store when it was there, but it was pretty thin.
Hmm.
Peter was saying it's like, it was hard to get business for hikers and campers.
Mhm.
Couldn't really make it work.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's hard to know whether you can make it fly. I
Yeah.
guess lower overhead.
The food truck, right?
Put a sign,
Anyway,
change the sign to free beer.
That'll get moving.
is there anything else we need to talk about? So have a good vacation.
Thank you.
All right. You've got this decision.
Yep.
All right. I think you know how we feel about development outside of the pre-described building envelope. We're limited to the Exhibit L. I think that addresses most everybody's concerns.
Mhm.
And do we want to say anything about clearing as well? Like, there's nothing that said, you could go back west of the power line and clear the whole,
Oh, I thought clearing limits were in the building envelope.
oh, maybe there. But-
We showed the tree line in that drawing.
Yeah, well,
But
definitely-
we don't want any clearing at all, other than what's described on the plan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's all point of preserving the access to the lot.
Yeah.
That was a habitat block. Oh, was.
And the guy from Arrowwood was like, well, there's so much development there anyway, the habitat's gone. I'm like,
No, not quite.
did you even go to the site to?
That's what I said. He said we already messed it up, so.
Yeah.
No, that one went, I just went.
No, we didn't.
No.
We didn't mess it up at all. Motion to adjourn? Unless, yes.
No,
So it looks like we'll be back for the 26th of June.
Nothing before then?
Nothing before then. It's somebody would have to file like tomorrow for the 5th or the first weekend in June, which is the 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody's circling other than the food truck guy. So if we nail him into the 26th, he's got enough time to get his ducks in a row, and we can condition him and review it. Approve it. Now we got a good sense by then of his business hours and what days he wants to work and that kind of stuff.
So the first person gets T-boned going down 50 belt.
Yeah, well, I bet the person doing it is gonna be driving a blue Toyota 4Runner and taking off at high speed from that stop sign right over there.
Blue Toyota.
No, I was just saying, I got,
Is that what it was?
that's who, yeah, that's who was,
You?
no, they were, I made the mistake of driving the speed limit on River Road, and someone didn't take very kindly to that.
They passed him and they stopped at the stop sign.
Yeah.
that's a little dangerous.
I was in Susie Wilson Road in Essex today, and I was heading towards St. Mike's, but I was like back where the Colonial Deli Mart was, and then this car was going kind of slow in front of me, so I was gonna pull out to the left, and these two cars come up, so I'm like, I'm not gonna pull out in front of them. One guy stops at the red light, and the other guy just passes him in the lane.
Oh, yeah.
Right through the red light,
Right
and keeps
through the-
going.
The
Really?
other lane.
On the other lane, he's in the oncoming traffic lane to pass. And I'm like, there's a guy, freaking sheriff sits in that school, in the school lot up here all the time. And it's like, and I saw like 3 Essex cops before I even got there, and they were all going the other way. One was out by Hannaford's, the other one was on 289 there, and the third was going on 2A back towards the village. And I was like,
Does anyone else hear those 2 or 3 cars that go through town with the really high verb, whatever it's
I
called.
hear him from my house, like it could be outside of my lawn.
Subwoofer, you mean?
I think he lives across from Corbett Corners there.
Is that where?
Wait, what is
It's got
the
a
noise?
little scoop on the back.
Yeah, what is the
Someone
noise that it
posted
makes?
about
'Cause
that.
I hear a lot of traffic now up in my,
Yeah. It's all different hours,
Yeah.
but I think there are 2 or 3. It sounds like there are 2 or 3 of them.
Just loud, right? Just
Yeah,
really
so
loud.
we
really
can
loud.
hear that car
Go.
go all the way up through
I hear
the
that.
pass and down.
No
Yeah.
muffler on it or something, you mean?
No, it's
I
got,
put the ghetto pipe on to make it loud.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a loud muffler sound.
Yeah.
And it's a pitch, it's got
Yeah,
a,
yeah.
and the windows of the house rattle.
Yeah. I'm back in the woods and there's a guy that used to come up Sand Hill Road and I could hear him go to work in the morning and come home because he had a subwoofer and half a mile away. I could go by.
In the trunk of the car.
Yeah, it was in a truck, a pickup truck. In the morning I'd hear him go to work, in the evening I'd hear him come home.
life in the country. Not.
So, motion to adjourn? Anyone? Just want to hang out here? I'm just
I'll make
thinking
a
of
motion.
our meeting transcriber here. She's,
Donna's getting billable hours, you know.
I'll second that motion to adjourn.
all right. So it looks like we'll see everybody on the 26th of June.
We'll vote.
We have to vote.
All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Motion carries.